Now, the speaking test is the aspect of the IELTS test that assesses your ability to communicate, your ability to converse effectively. Because there is a difference between speaking and communicating. You may be speaking, but you're not communicating. What does it mean? You may be speaking and using words that are not familiar to the person you're talking to. At that point, there is no communication between you and that person. So IELTS examiners, or IELTS as a test, is looking to evaluate you to confirm that you are able to actually speak in the right English. We speak English in Nigeria, no doubt, but we speak Nigerian English. We don't speak the English they brought to us. So that's why they are putting us to test. If not, ordinarily, we are not supposed to go through this, because the people who colonized your country are the same people conducting the exam, right? So, because your country is multi-ethnic, because your country is cosmopolitan, because your country has a lot of tribes, they are sure that your spoken English will definitely be influenced or affected by those other native languages. Let's say, for instance, when you go to the Igbo region, the southeastern region, you may be surprised to see or hear people speak and show off some mother tongue interferences, such as the RL factors, right? My name is Rinda Radeniregos from London. These are their mother tongue influences. In the West, you see people saying shush. They were shouting, and my heart was hurting me. They have those HSH factors. You go to the north, you hear people say, my brother from the north is coming, everybody, hey, that is their own factor. So the IELTS examiners want to see your ability to manage all of these issues. Because you're going to an environment where English is the only lingua franca. It is the only medium of communication. So they need to be sure. Because there are skilled workers who go to their countries, and then they are offered jobs to become caretakers or nannies. And of course, they are going to leave their little child with you. And if that child, having stayed with you for a month or two, begins to say, hello, daddy, what happens? You'll be fired that way, right? Because you have influenced that child with your native accent and interference, right? So this is the reason IELTS examiners are putting us to test. Secondly, they are putting you to test to see your ability to converse on random topical issues. Because you do not know exactly the questions they would ask you, right? So it's expected that you should be open to all kinds of questions, because it's assumed that you might get to such environment and someone who is bored may want you to keep him or her company, right? And the person, in the course of keeping such company, you might begin to engage the person in different discussions. So the person might ask questions bordering around sports. You have to speak on sports activity. The person might speak or raise issues bordering around jobs. You have to talk about jobs. So that's why IELTS is testing you on random topical issues that you did not maybe prepare beforehand. So they are testing your spontaneity, ability to speak on situations on the spot. They are testing your creativity, ability to respond to questions nicely, intelligently. Then they are also looking at your ability to completely respond to the questions asked. So when you are speaking, we have what we call speaking rules. Speaking rules. First thing you have to understand as regards speaking rules is that never give a short answer. Never give a short answer. So if you are a reserved kind of person, you are an introvert, please understand that when you're going for your speaking test, remove that your introversion, that's your introvert clothing. Keep it at home. Because you must engage the examiner interestingly and intelligently. Next rule, always speak audibly. Always speak audibly. You need to be audible when you're speaking because the examiner is going to record your conversation. So, in between you and the examiner, there's going to be a little gadget somewhere there to record both his questions as the examiner and your responses to those questions. And it is important that you speak audibly because your results may come out tomorrow and you look at the span score given to you and you feel, I believe I did way better than this. Now, as a test taker, you have the right to file for a remark, but it's not free. You will pay for that remark. Now, the good thing about it is, if you were audible during your speaking session, the recording will be given to another examiner to re-evaluate. So if that examiner re-evaluates that recording and feels, okay, I think he should have done better, and increases your band score, that money you paid will be refunded. Then your score will increase. Do you understand? But if the mark remains, the money is gone. Those are the two things involved. Your score will never drop. It either remains the same or it increases. If it increases, you get refunded. If it remains the same, the money is gone. Right? So this is the reason you need to be audible. Another rule is always maintain eye contact with the examiner. Always maintain eye contact with the examiner. In so many countries of the world, especially in Africa, we have this upbringing of respect as a culture where you are strongly nurtured not to look into the eyes of an older person when you're talking to him or her. It is considered to be disrespectful. So it affects a lot of people when they go for the speaking test. So they are not in the habit of looking at people when they are talking to them. So because of that, while talking, they tend to look elsewhere. Now, to the examiners, looking elsewhere gives a negative impression. So you need to keep eye contact. You are free to look rightward, leftward, but never look downward. Downward is totally negative. Then, you are not also compelled to station or fix your eyes directly at the examiner. Right? So you are free to, when you're speaking, you're like, well, I think it's not something very popular in my community, but to an extent, I feel a lot of people do that. You look away, you come back, and sure you're keeping eye contact. Right? Next rule, have your confidence 101%. Have your confidence 101%. Please don't let it go short of this. A lot of people go for speaking tests and tension grabs them and they go blank. Little questions you're going to be asked, you forget even your name. So please, if you are confident, there is no question that you can't respond to. But once you are tensed, once your heartbeat begins to run faster than Usain Bolt, you might forget a whole lot of things. So please, have your confidence 101% intact. Next rule. Never begin to respond to a question you have not clearly understood. Never begin to respond to a question that you have not clearly understood. Okay, so you don't have to begin to rush to speak on something you have not understood. It's only tension that will push you to do that. So if you are confident, when a question is asked, you might want to take some time to ensure you've actually digested and understood that question before you begin to speak. Next rule. Feel free to request a repeat or rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question that's unclear to you. So, if someone says a thing to you or someone asks you a question, how do you request a rephrasal? Ordinarily, how would you request a rephrasal or a repeat of that question?
I would say, come again, sir.
And when you say come again, examiner will stand up and come to the court of your seat.
So what's the question?
Thank you.
Or can you repeat the question? Will you agree?
That's fair.
Say pardon.
Pardon.
I get what you say.
Thank you. Please, let's not make the mistake of saying come again. That's the Nigerian English. So you can simply say, could you please repeat the question? Or could you please rephrase the question in a simpler way? Could you please rephrase the question in a simpler way? This is a professional way of requesting a rephrasal or a repeat of a question that's unclear to you. Right?
This one is the best one.
Yes. Could you please rephrase the question in a simpler way when the question is unclear to you? Rather than rushing to speak and go off point, it is better you request a rephrasal. Just like when you go for a debate or spelling bee competition, when the dictator pronounces a word for you to spell. If that word is unclear to you, it is your right as a competitor to request the dictator or pronouncer to please make a sentence with that word. You are not asking the person to spell it. Make a sentence with that word. So when the person makes a sentence with the word, then from there you can, if you have an idea of something, you cannot begin to spell. So the same thing applies.
Let me ask you a question. So if you tell the examiner to repeat the question in a simpler way, so will he now put it in another way, different from the question in the what's it called,
Yes.
what I was giving to him?
Yes.
So you can tell him you put it another way.
When you say, could you please rephrase the question in a simpler way? Simpler way means something not what I say or what you have heard me share.
Very common.
And he will change it.
Sure.
Oh. And the video is fixed, so you can't do anything.
No, you are talking about cue card, the paper that I'll be giving to you. That's not the only part of your speaking test. The speaking test has 3 parts: the introductory session, the cue card session, and the follow-up or supporting question session. Do you understand? The cue card is fixed; it will be given to you. That's the part 2. So that one you're meant to read and describe a scenario or situation that you have experienced, right? course, it comes with some bullet points, prompters, things that will guide you to respond or responding to the question. But during your parts 1 and 3, you get to experience what we call question and answer sessions with the examiner. So examiner will be asking you a couple of questions and you respond to them. So it is at this point or during such sections or parts when questions come to you or are posed or thrown at you and you are not clear about those questions, request a rephrasal of that question.
That's what first and third part.
Yes.
When you have a conversation with
Yes. When you have question and answer session. Okay. Now the next rule says never form an accent. Never form an accent. Because that's something you cannot finish. Be very natural when you speak, but ensure that your pronunciations, your enunciations, and your choice of words are correct. Then your grammar also ensure that your grammatical range and accuracies are also correct. Okay, next rule. Always articulate your points before you begin to speak. Always articulate your points before you begin to speak. This is very peculiar when you are treating part 2. That's the cue card section that will be given a paper that contains the situation you're meant to describe. So for you to actually describe that, there will be bullet points. So for you to correctly respond to that question, it is better you simply articulate your points. Know what you want to say at each point in time. So that will help you to give a very intelligent response to the questions. Then another rule. Okay.
Now, for the part 2, right, the task part. So, how would can you give an example of how you want to get those questions done? Or just put anyhow? Priority number 1, this heading, number 2, this.
Okay.
Does that have to be marked? That is where you have to do where you put it down.
No.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
You want to know.
Alright. Now, next rule. You are free to make use of natural fillers, but do not overuse them. You are free to make use of natural fillers, but do not overuse them. So what do we call this? How do you pronounce this guy? First one.
What else?
Second one. And. Huh? And. So those are natural fillers. In Africa, we have our own natural fillers as well. In Nigeria, you have a lot of such natural fillers from different regions. The Igbo one will tell you, Hausa will tell you, Kai. Yoruba will shout, right? But this is IELTS. So you have to use something that is in line with their own practice. So, and their natural fillers. When do we use these guys? When do you use natural fillers?
I think especially when you are short of points and you're trying to maneuver your way or something.
You want to maneuver your way.
You are trying to remember what they call it.
It's like whenever I remove the mic from you, you give me the right answer.
When you're trying to maybe articulate your words.
When you want to articulate your words. Nice. Nice. So, Chief, we use the natural fillers when you want to remember the right words to use. When you want to articulate your points, when you want to remember the right things or information to say, right? You use them. Therefore, they are not to be used intermittently, right? Only when necessary. You understand this? Because the essence of speaking test is to hear you speak fluently. So when you begin to deploy the natural fillers intermittently, what happens? Your fluency drops. Right? Next rule. You are allowed to express non-verbal communications. You are allowed to express non-verbal communication, but do not abuse them. You are allowed to express non-verbal, but do not abuse them. How do you show off non-verbal communication, or what exactly is non-verbal communication? Do you know? Non-verbal communications are expressions you make that pass message across without you saying anything. Expressions you make that pass message or messages across. Expressions you make that pass a message or messages across without you saying a thing. So tell me, is there a way we can pass a message to someone without saying a thing?
That's more like implied meaning.
Your facial attitude can say something.
Do you understand? Non-verbal communication, facial gestures, facial gestures, body language, dexterities, these will pass messages across. Raising your eyebrows, opening your mouth and your eyes as well as showing surprise, right? Nodding your head or shaking your head. Using your hands. Right? These are communication figures. So you are free to make use of these guys, but please do not abuse them, because examiners want to hear you speak. So non-verbal communications will not show you or show that you can speak, right? Next rule. It is highly allowed to show off contractions. It's highly allowed and proves professionalism when a candidate shows contractions. It's highly allowed and it proves high level of professionalism in spoken English when a candidate shows contractions while speaking. What are contractions? Do we know? Contractions?
Is it contracted forms?
Yeah.
Contracted forms, like it's
Aha.
okay.
So instead of saying I cannot, you say what?
I can't.
I can't. This is high level of English in the spoken version.
It's allowed to
Yes.
professional.
Spoken, yes.
But
That's
in writing, you should.
in writing, avoid this guy to drop your mark.
Okay, in formal writing.
In formal writing,
Not
don't
informal.
bring
Okay.
it. It will drop your mark. But when you are speaking, it shows you have good command of the language when you contract. Next rule, feel free to show off voice modulation if you can. Feel free to show off voice modulation while speaking if you can. Feel free to show off voice modulation while speaking if you can. Voice modulation while speaking if you can. What does voice modulation mean? Your ability to
respond to pitch and
exactly rising and falling of your voice when you're speaking. It's not accent, right?
yeah.
It's just voice modulation. Someone will say, I hate you. I hate you. Someone will say, I hate you. See the difference? So the voice modulation, the one that says, I hate you, is more threatening. But the one that says, I hate you, I hate you, if you just, who cares? Right? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. See the difference? So, in speaking tests, you become an interesting talker when you apply voice modulation. Those who don't are considered to be flat talkers and they are seen as boring talkers. So applying the voice modulation makes you an interesting talker. Okay, let's go to the next stage. The speaking test lasts for a period of 10 to 15 minutes maximum. Now, there are 3 parts of the speaking test. Correct. The speaking test, which lasts for a period of 10 to 15 minutes, has 3 different parts. It is also important we understand that speaking tests can be conducted in 2 ways. You can have the physical examiner or you have the virtual examiner. If it is a physical examiner, you meet someone seated and waiting for you. If it is a virtual examiner, you meet someone waiting for you on the screen where the person is live. You understand it? Whichever it is, it's all the same. But you just have to be confident. That's what matters. Now, the speaking test has 3 parts. The first one is called the introductory session, where you get to be asked questions around yourself and your immediate environment. That first part, you need to know about yourself. You need to know about your environment. Now, the part 2, I call it the main speaking test, because this is where you describe a scenario or situation about something that has happened. And at this point, in part 1, it is question and answer session. It is a question and answer session. Examiner will be asking you questions, then you will respond. But in part 2, the examiner does not talk. You will do all the talking in part 2. The examiner only tells you, okay, we have come to the end of your speaking test part 1. We shall go straight into the second part. Here is your cue card. The examiner will hand the cue card over to you and tells you, you can make notes on the piece of paper right in front of you. You have 40 seconds or 60 seconds to do that. Then after that, once the time elapses, the examiner will tell you, you may now begin. And that's all. So you will now take it off. Do you understand? So I call it the main speaking session. Because at this point, you are the only person doing all the talking, and you'll be given a paper called cue card. But the good thing is, this part 2, you get to speak for about 2 minutes only. It's quite a short time, right? If you don't know how that's only you. You don't have to construct nice stories. The storyteller. Right? So this is where you show your creativity and spontaneity. Alright, so let's go to part 3. Right here, you are going to be asked a couple of questions, just like in part 1. But the good thing is, your part 3 questions may be related to the cue card topic that you spoke about in part 2. It may also be related to the profession you filled at the point of registering for the exam. Right? Then lastly, the supporting or follow-up questions may be what we call weird questions. Weird questions. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, these are possible questions you may be asked. They are not sacrosanct. So we're not going to cram them. But we're going to understand how to respond to such questions when they are asked. Now let's begin in part one. The examiner will start by giving you preambles about the exam, and after which the examiner will introduce him or herself to you, and then begins to ask you questions. But before this, let's understand the situation of the speaking test. Speaking test is a formal setting, right? The speaking test is a formal setting to confirm and evaluate your ability to communicate. So for the exam or the evaluation, you are being assigned to an examiner who is certified and licensed to conduct the test. That examiner, by the policy and practice of speaking, is not meant to make you to begin to laugh or crack you up and all that, right? But the person may choose to help you to feel relaxed, right? But it's not always like that. So you have to relax yourself by yourself first. Prepare your mind. So in case the person is not a jovial person, it's usually jovial persons that will tell you, you look a little tense. This is just conversations you're about to have. So could you please take it? Alright, calm down. It's nothing too serious. Then at that time, you take your deep breaths. Right? But there are some examiners that you walk in and the person is like, hello, good morning. Listen, stop me. Do you understand? There are such persons. It's not really matters, please. So in case you meet someone who is jovial, in case you meet someone who is friendly and welcoming, then it's an added advantage for you. But if you meet someone who is very mean and formal, please, the person is not rechanting you, is not from the village. The person is just playing his or her role.
Don't flow with it. Flow with it.
Just follow that person by that approach. But make sure you have your confidence intact. That's what matters the most. So when you walk in, normally there will be this form of introduction about the speaking test. This is a speaking test held on the 23rd of February 2024. I would like to make some confirmations about you. You have enrolled for the general IELTS examination, is that correct? Just to let you know that this exam is going to be recorded. So I just wish to confirm that I hope you're comfortable with that. And you're like, yes, I am. Okay, so we're about to begin. I encourage you to be audible so that your voice can be captured in the recording. All right, are you ready? Good morning, my name is Benedict. May I please know your name? So the examiner has given you a little preamble about the exam before introducing himself or herself to you. So at this point, examiner would ask you, what's your name? So when you are asked what your name is, please, there are 4 possible ways you can respond to the question, what's your name? So you can simply say, my name is, then you say your name, or you say, my name's, then you say your name, or you can say, I am, or you can as well say, I'm. These are 4 possible ways. Chief Uba, tell them you are busy now. Okay.
Sorry.
Alright.
Just please.
Alright. Now let's understand something. what's your name? You can notice that there is contraction here. The examiner will not say, what is your name? The examiner would ask you, what's your name? So when you are asked, what's your name, we're using contraction. It simply means your response should also show contraction. Now, there are 4 options, quite alright, but it is more advised that you go for the ones that have contractions, if you are comfortable and conversant with it.
Yeah.
But if you are not comfortable and conversant with it, please just go with the one you know. It's all good, right? So what's your name? You can simply say, my name is, then you say your full name. Your full name has to align with the names you have on your international passport data page. But you are not compelled to say those names the way they are arranged. You are not compelled to follow them chronologically. But you are to ensure that you give your complete name. You can begin with any, whether the middle, the first and the last, or the last, middle, and the first. Whichever approach you want to take, it's all good. But ensure that you give your complete name. Then, another thing you need to understand when you are saying or giving your name to the examiner is, if your name is not English, if your name is a native name, you are strongly encouraged and advised to say the name slowly. Say your name slowly, so the examiner will get your name and the recorder will also capture the name. But of course, if the name is English, please, you're free to flow as fast as you wish. It doesn't matter, right? So the first template right here is, my name is, then you say your name. You can as well use the second approach, my name's, right? So if I want to say what my name is, I can simply say, oh, my name's Benedict Eke. My name's Benedict Eke. Not my name's are. Some people will say that. Please don't say my names are, because in my names there is is. So if I want to give the full version, I would say, based on what the person said, I would simply say my name is do you understand? So that's wrong. So you are saying my name's Benedict Eke. You can as well say I am Benedict Eke, or I am, not am, I am Benedict Eke. Alright? These are ways you can respond to the question, what's your name? Alright? Examiner might as well ask you, after expressing what your name is, it is more advised you go for the contracted version. What's your name? My name is Benedict Eke. My name is Benedict Eke. My name is, that's the second template on the board. My name is Benedict Eke. My name is Benedict Eke. My name is Benedict Eke. Second one, my name is Benedict Eke. My name is Benedict Eke. Or you can simply say I am Benedict Eke. Or the contractual version will be I am Benedict Eke. Is that taken? Now after giving your name, examiner would ask you, okay, so what can I call you? What can I call you? At this point, this is when the long English will begin. Remember the first rule said, never give a short answer to questions, right? So in the speaking test, the place where you may give short answer is just when you are introducing yourself as regards your name. Because the response is very direct and straightforward, right? But what can I call you? You can simply say, you can call me by my English name, Michael. You can call me by my English name, George. You can call me by my English name, Bush. Whichever it is. You can as well say, well, you can call me by my native name, then you give your native name. But if examiner asks you, what can I call you? Please do not say George. George is fine. Yes, please.
This all this introduction matters. Like you say, well, that, you know, those people love to hear this kind of introduction. So it's good to, so one can add that, right? Well, yes. You can call me.
Yes. What can I call you? Oh, well, you can call me. Do you understand it? What can I call you? Oh, well, you can call me then by my whatever name you choose to be called. But you can also show off. You can show off by speaking quite a long expression. What can I call you? Well, I'm popularly known as Benedict by my friends and family. Then for the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben. Right? This is a show. I'm popularly known by my friends and family as well as my colleagues as Benedict. But for the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben. Then after that, the examiner begins to call you by that name. So examiner would continue and say, all right, Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Please, may I take a look at your means of identification? Of course, at this point, you have to bring out your means of identification, which has to be the same MOI as the one used when you are registering the exam. Right? So if I ask you, please, may I take a look at your means of identification? What would you say? Or what would you do? If I request to see your means of identification, what will you do?
I'm on the way to it.
Okay, please, may I see that practically? All right, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, noted. Please, how would you turn in your means of identification to me if I request that you give that to me? All right, may I please take a look at your means of identification?
Okay, here it is, oh man.
Okay, thank you so much, noted. Now, let's understand something. We are Africans, right? We've been nurtured to show respect at every point in time. Don't be surprised that when speaking test is going on and the examiner requests to see the means of identification, the person will stand up.
I need that one.
I want to, reflect, right? It's not necessary. It's a drop of your confidence. Do you understand this? Secondly, IELTS is not an African exam. So they don't bring in your culture in IELTS. So there is no need of sir or ma or madam. It's not necessary. Examiners will always introduce themselves to you for you to be able to address them. Please, do you understand this? Address the examiner by his or her name that he or she must have told you beneath you. Please, I need you to, your confidence will give you a very long edge for a speaking test. Feel free. If the person says, my name is Tevens, you can call me Tevens. So I'm going to be your IELTS examiner for today. May I please know your name? At this point, you have been told what to call the examiner. Oh, nice to meet you, Tevens. My name is, do you understand? Feel free. Speaking test is more conversational. It's not an interview for job that you want to be so packaged. No. You have to be calm. You have to feel free and express yourself before the examiner. Now, when you are to hand in your means of identification, of course, it's going to be your international passport. So if I ask you, may I please take a look at your means of identification? This is what you're to do. Oh, sure. Here you go. Or, yes, please. Here is my means of identification. Or you say, of course, you can take a look at my means of identification. Please speak. Speak. Don't mind your words. Be expressive. That's what matters. And that will boost your performance. You don't give something to someone during the speaking test without saying a thing. All right, Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Oh, sure. Here you go.
But you can say, yeah, it is.
Yes.
Sir.
You don't need that sound.
But you can call his name.
Yes. Oh, sure, Teres. Here it is. No, sure, Teres. Here it is. Oh, of course, Ben. This is my means of identification. Do you understand me? It shows that you have acquainted yourself with a person already. Right? And then you should also understand the timing of when I said it compared to in relation to how I gave it. Short confirms the name you had given initially. So that's why you should know your name. Yes.
Okay. So, for example, you know that like the last one I wrote, the last speaking test I did. So, you know that sometimes they don't want to ask you what can I call you. So,
yes.
Is it good after introducing yourself? Then you now add that part. But you can call me. My family and friends probably call me this.
Thank you. There is no examiner that will not ask you what they would like to call you. But if you are too forward or fast and you say it while giving your name, they won't need to ask you anymore. Every examiner will want to address you when examining you.
So to be fine, you let the person
Ask. You are buying
Okay, so it's
By the
better.
time.
Go to buy time.
You are buying time as well. But if you are too quick to respond to a question that has not been asked yet, you are giving more room for more questions.
Yes. So best.
So,
wait
one
for-
step at
wait
a
for
go.
the question, answer confidently.
One step at a go. Don't be too forward. Over-sabi leads causes accident.
You know, at times it's this fear that will make you want to ask.
Yeah.
Want to say it in advance.
Right? So please, let things flow naturally. Okay. So when the examiner looks at the passports, confirms the name you have given initially, and then takes a look at the photo and confirms that you are still the person there, then the examiner will say, all right, thank you, so you can keep that back. And then the examiner continues. Okay, Ben, please tell me, where are you from? Where are you from? Okay. So, when I ask you, where are you from? And I'll be like, well, I hail from a popular community called Ankwa. Is that how they call it, Ankwa? In Ankwa local government area of Kogi State, which is located in the north central region of Nigeria. Right? I can as well say I am indigene of a cradle town called Obosi in Obosi East local government area of Anambra State, which is located in the southeastern part of Nigeria. I hail from a small village called Kanuri in Kanuri East local government area of Borno State, located at the northern part of Nigeria. So you have to build your place of origin from scratch to the country at large. You understand this?
Yeah.
So we're going to take a shot from name to this point. When I get to this point, please demonstrate giving me something. Alright? It may not be anything, right? Just demonstrate giving me. Okay. Alright, so this is the IELTS examination held on the 23rd of February 2024. I'm going to be your IELTS examiner for today. But just for a start, I would like to take you through the preambles and modus operandi of this test. First, I'll encourage you to be audible during the examination because our conversation will be recorded. I hope you're comfortable with that.
Yes.
Just to confirm as well, that you are enrolled for the general training test, correct?
Yes.
Alright, please we're about to begin. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay? Alright, so my name is Benedict. What's your name?
Nice meeting you, Benedict. My name is Aaron.
He has filled so. I said, okay, maybe you were receiving a call. When you are giving your name, if your name is not an English name, please say it slowly.
Okay.
And I also observe that you are a fast talker.
Yes, I'm fast talker.
Please drop the pace for the moment. Why it is necessary to drop the pace is so you won't exhaust your points before time. Because it will be shooting at you. Right? So try to be taking some deep breath while you're speaking. That's the way to manage it. Okay, I'm taking that from the TOP. Alright, my name is Benedict. What's your name?
Nice meeting you, Benedict. My name is Daniel. I don't know.
Alright, what can I call you?
Well, my friends are coming from call me Dan.
That's what they call you. Not tell me what I should call you.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay. Well, my friends and family popularly call me Dan, so you can call me Dan.
Alright, that's nice, Dan. May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Sure. Yeah, it is.
Alright, thank you so much. Please tell me, Dan, where are you from?
I'm from a small community called Yali. The local government of Kogi State, the eastern region, Nigeria.
Kogi is the east?
Kogi East. No, Kogi East. That's not the.
Okay, no.
Okay, not central. Okay, not okay. That's the.
Not central. I come from a small village called Yale in Tekina local government area of Kogi State, which is located local government area of Kogi State, which is located local government area of Kogi State, which is located in the north central region of Nigeria. Of Nigeria.
This week, the other power.
Okay. Now, you know, first impression matters. These are the first three questions examiner is asking and you're ready to know in English. So they will know that yes, this guy is here prepared. Then, please tell me a little bit about your community. Tell me a little bit about your community. Oh, thank you for this opportunity. Well, like I said earlier, I'm a native of Yali. You mentioned the community you had said earlier, right? In my community, we have an estimated population of about 40,000 people, inclusive of both indigenous and migrants. In my community, please tell me a little bit about your community. Wow, I was actually looking forward to this. I would like to say that, like I said earlier, I am a native of blah blah blah. And in my community, we have an estimated population of about whatever number you have to give. Notwithstanding, we are quite industrious, hospitable, and accommodating. Of course, I won't fail to say that we are also religious. Over the years, we are famous for our native festival called whatever it is that is celebrated in your community. And of course, this festival attracts people from all over the world. Our native delicacy is called blah blah blah, which is made of, we talk about it. We are predominantly farmers.
You will take this thing. But I think those points are very important.
Okay. Please tell me a little bit about your community. Wow, thank you for this opportunity. Like I said earlier, I'm a native of Yali. And in my community, we have an estimated population of about 20,000 persons. Of course, this includes both the indigenous and the migrants. We are predominantly farmers. And despite that, we are generally considered to be industrious, hospitable and accommodating, and of course, religious. We are predominantly farmers and generally described to be industrious, hospitable and accommodating, as well as religious. Industrious, accommodating, hospitable and religious. We also have this popular festival which is celebrated annually, especially or particularly or specifically in the month of October or December, just recently. And of course, this festival attracts people from all over the globe. My community is surrounded by a number of neighboring villages. And most importantly, my community is just about 30 minutes drive away from the city center. And that's it. Okay, Ben, please tell me, what do you do? What do you do is asking to know about your employment status. So 3 things are involved. For what you do, it's either you are gainfully employed, or you are an entrepreneur, or you are a student. Please, do you understand this? What do you do? When an examiner asks you, correct, then please tell me, what do you do? There are 3 things involved. It's either you are gainfully employed by an organization, right? Or you are an entrepreneur, business owner, self-employed. Or you are a student. These are the 3 categories. So you have to build your response around what the category belongs. So, but how do you run this particular part? What do you do? I'll just give you a model. What do you do? Well, thank you for this opportunity. I was actually looking forward to this. First, I would like to say that having studied medicine in the University of Nigeria for 6 years, and of course came out with a good grade, I've been privileged to work with a couple of health facilities, but at the moment I'm gainfully employed by the National Hospital of Abuja. This is for the gainfully employed category. If you are a business owner, what do you do? Well, thank you for this opportunity. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. So I actually run my own business. Of course, this was bettered by my passion for setting up a business after graduating from the university where I studied business administration for 4 years. I came out and felt it is important, rather than being an employee, it's better I go for the employer. So I decided to set up my own business. Okay. What do you do? Well, I am an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. And this was as a result of my passion to own my own business, which came after my graduation from the university where I studied blah, blah, blah for 4 years or 5 years. And I felt that rather than being an employee, it would pay better to be an employee. Please, do you understand? Then the examiner would ask you, so what job do you do? Well, okay, before I go to the job, let me also talk about the students. What do you do? Well, I just graduated from the university where I studied mass communication. Of course, I came up with a good grade. But at the moment, I'm observing a compulsory 1-year service under a compulsory 1-year scheme called National Youth Service Corps. Please, do you understand this? If you are a secondary school graduate, what do you do? Well, I just graduated from secondary school, and my work is almost out, but I'm confident I will do way good in my work. Notwithstanding, I'm also looking to further my education to obtain a degree in so university abroad.
Can you answer this question?
What do you do?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Well, thank you for this opportunity. I'm an entrepreneur.
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 This English.
Can someone just say himself?
No, I'm self-employed. I'm a business owner.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I'm a business owner, and this was better, right? It was. And this was better. This was better. This was better for my passion to own a business. After graduating from university, where I studied business for 4 years. Is that okay?
It's okay. The major thing is you are an entrepreneur. That's what they want to hear. So what job do you do?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I'm a business owner, and this was better.
No.
Okay.
This is a different question. The first one was, what do you do? You have given me the response. Now I'm asking, what job do you do?
Okay, what job?
So, listen to me now. As you are not saying as a, not I am now. As an entrepreneur who runs the business of blah 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 blah, I ensure that I get my goods from my producers or manufacturers. I have them dispatched to my teaming clients. Right? I also ensure that my day-to-day transactions are being recorded, and if we have any physical cash, I make sure they are being deposited into the account. I ensure that my clients or customers receive maximum level of satisfaction in my service delivery. So you want to know what to do. What job do you do?
Okay. As a business owner, I engage in the sales of phones and laptop accessories. Also, I render computer trainings to students or to clients that are, or customers that are willing to learn computer trainings.
Clients or customers that are willing to be computer literate, use the right technology.
That are willing to be computer literate.
Right? Okay.
So, okay, like let me give an example. In my previous question, in my previous exam, the man asked me, how do I feel after my day's business? How do I feel after my day's activity in my business? So what's the best listening?
Well, for me, it's more like a daily routine. That's what the question is directing. It's more like your daily routine. It says after the day's business. Well, for me, it's a daily routine, and it's usually a moment I look forward to as far as accountability is concerned. So I tend to have a retrospect of all the activities carried out in that day, and I go through all the records I have. I ensure that there is this reconciliation between sales and the funds, and I also ensure that everyone who requested my services actually got feedback from me. those that their services were not readily available that day, I ensure that the next day they receive whatever they asked. So this makes me feel fulfilled and it keeps me going. It's something I always look forward to every day. So when they ask you these questions, don't rush.
I want to ask you something.
Yes,
I want to understand the position, like meeting let's say you are meeting the person physically. Is the person close to you? Is there need, when you introduce, is there need to have a handshake with the person? There anything
Not
like
at all.
that? So all you just need to sit down and then get ready for
Let me give you a practical example. Let's assume this is a speaking test corner or hub. The examiner will be seated right here.
before you come in.
Yes, before you come in. Then there will be a table. Then your own seat will be around you. Do you understand? So if it is a physical examination, you are seated, examiner is seated. So when you come in, examiner will be seated and he's like, hello, good morning, please have a seat. Then you grab the seat. When you are offered a seat, please, it is natural to say thank you. Then you sit. So you grab the seat and you're like, thanks, or thank you. Thank you is better. So when you grab the seat, thank you, then you sit. When you sit, please try as much as possible to sit upright, 90 degrees. Sit upright, 90 degrees. It shows confidence. All right, please come in, have your seat. Oh, thank you so much. Just touch the seat a little bit. Then do you understand? Not sit one side of the
Already. Like me, I something
That's
I was ready for person. Just go.
So you need to relax. Right?
Be relaxed. Sit. Your sitting position also shows whether you are tense or confident. If you don't know that. Sitting position, it tells if you are
Or you
confident.
can place your hand on the table.
You can if you wish. If you also wish, you put your arms. Just lean back. It depends. So these are different ways you can sit, but please don't sit one-sided. That's not right. That's not nice. Alright, so when you have established what job you do, the next thing examiner will want to ask you, why did you go for that line of business? What prompted you to venture into this line of business? So tell me, why go into ICT?
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me, why go into ICT?
Well, I've always loved anything that has to do with
Let me see if I can do something.
Okay, so tell me, why do you go for your line of occupation or career?
Okay, thank you. I grew up among brothers and siblings who do telecommunication business. So during my holidays in school, I visit their shops, and with time I loved the business. And when I came out from school, search for a job, there was no job, so I said, why don't you just check out this business out? That was how I got into the business, and I'm liking it.
Okay. There's something to say. You had brothers who were into telecommunication business, and you loved
I visit them, and with time I love businesses.
So this is better. It's better to say, because of my constant or frequent visits to the shops, I developed passion for it. Then with time, also, I realized that the world is going technological. With the slogan then, which used to be Y2K compliant, has virtually everything in life right now requires information technology or requires technological gadgets for ease of stress and also to reduce workload.
So this one is your driver. Is it your driver?
Your drive, yes.
Okay.
And motivation. So you want to so let's hear from you. So tell me, why did you go for that line of business?
Well, I went to that line of business as a result of my passion for it. Because
You can look for a way to say the no in a very
don't be short answers.
Did you enjoy eating chocolate while growing up as a child? Well, I didn't have that opportunity to actually have a lot of chocolate while growing up as a child because my parents were prioritizing our funds towards things that would sustain us the more rather than spending money on chocolates. However, there were few moments I was opportune to have a couple of it. Then it was called Chocomilo. It used to be like a cube of like rats with green wrapper. It's usually pretty hard to crack. So in some cases we will look for something to crack. And you can't just chew it because it's quite hard. So you have to put it in your mouth and it will take a long time before it dissolves. So then it was quite fun for us. But I didn't take much of it. My answer is actually no.
No, yes, but
I found the way around it. And the response would interest the examiner too. When you take the examiner back to memory lane.
You carry it away.
Right? So you just don't just release the bomb. Find a way to say it and make it interesting too. Right? Please tell me about your daily routine. When an examiner asks you to tell you about your daily routine, remember your daily routine is your daily routine. So it has to begin from morning till night. Your daily routine has to begin from morning till night. So, well, my daily routine usually begins from waking up in the morning, which is usually at about 5:30. So when I wake up, I say my prayers and with my family and have a little exercise. After which, I begin to prepare for work. And to do this, I have to take my bath, take my breakfast, and off to work. I get to work at 8:30 a.m. Then I face the day's job. It runs through to 1 p.m. when I'm allowed to take a short break. Then I return back to work and complete the jobs up till 4 p.m. and I close from work for the day. It takes me about 30 minutes to an hour, between 30 minutes to an hour to drive back home. And when I get home, I freshen up a little bit and look for dinner. After eating, I take a little nap and then have some time with my family to discuss about the day's activities, and then we retire to bed. So this is the way my daily routine runs from Monday to Friday. Daily routine begins from waking up in the morning, which is usually at about 5 p.m. After which I say my prayers with my family and then engage in a little exercise. Then I prepare for work by taking my bath, having my breakfast, and off to work. I usually resume at work at about 8 to 8:30 latest. Then I face the day's job. At about 1 p.m., I'm usually entitled to a break. After the break, which lasts for about 30 minutes, I return back to work, and at 4 p.m. I close from work and then find my way back home. It usually takes me about 30 to 1 hour. So when I get home, I spend a little, take a nap, freshen up, spend a little time with my family, and if I have little time to listen to news or watch a movie, I also do that before I finally retire to bed. This is how my daily routine runs from Monday to Friday. Examiner may also ask you, how do you spend your weekends? Your weekends begins from when? Your weekend begins from when?
Friday evening.
Friday evening and ends when? Sunday evening. Chief, your weekend begins from when?
Saturday.
Saturday ends when?
Sunday.
Alright, your answers both are incorrect. Weekend begins on Friday and ends on Saturday. Sunday is the first day of a new week.
Hey.
Right? That's why once it is Friday morning, everyone begins to shout TGIF, right? And what's Friday? So Friday is the beginning of weekend, and it ends completely on Saturday. So it's not whether it's evening, it's just from Friday to Saturday, right? So how do you begin? How do you spend your weekends? Well, my weekends are usually jam-packed. It's usually full of lots of activities, ranging from getting to work and rushing the jobs on my table, closing earlier than the normal days, and then returning home, finding time to do a little chores because the next day will be really preoccupied. Then I also get to sleep late since I don't have to wake up very early for work since it's a Saturday, right? On Saturday proper, we have what we call division of labor. Everyone is usually involved in carrying out the home chores. For instance, we clean up the house, we prepare for the next week by making foods and packaging in the fridge. And then if I have other functions to attend, such as weddings, housewarming, naming ceremonies, and the likes, I also do that. If I also have to hang out with my family or friends, it's usually Saturdays. If I need to go and get myself set for the week by having my hair cut and other things, it's also on Saturdays. So my Saturdays are always quite busy, right? So these are ways to spend your weekends. Alright, tell me about a book you read recently. When was the last time you read?
2018.
Or not, right?
Yeah.
IELTS is not concerned about whether what you have read is actually true or false.
Yes.
IELTS is just listening to hear you speak. Now, if you are asked to talk about a book you read recently and you are not a reading type, don't worry yourself. I'm sure you must have, if there are two things, it's either you read or you watch movies or you watch something. So you need to convert whatever you have watched recently to a book. Right?
Yeah.
So when you are converting that, there are things you need to provide or put in place. One, the author, name of the writer. Two, how many pages is the book, right? Three, if you have antagonists or protagonists or major characters in the book. Four, the moral lesson of the book, right? Five, if you enjoyed reading that book and would love to read that over and over. Please, do you understand this? You need to factor all of this. So don't always just say you read a book written by the same as Da Vinci, right? Who is the author? We need to find out. You also give us the author, but we don't know how many pages the book is, right? And there's a moral lesson that I taught you how to relate to people. Improve on it now.
Okay, what's this?
Yes. Okay. So you may also be asked to talk about a wedding you attended not too long ago. Right? Yeah, come anywhere. You may be asked, do you think it is important or is it a nice thing to build relationship for an employer to have a good business relationship with his clients? Do you think it pays to build good relationship between employer and employees? What is the primary benefit of building a competitive business environment? What can you say? What's the primary benefit of building a competitive business environment? Primary benefit.
Primary benefit of building a competitive business environment.
Yes, please.
Is it benefit to the employer?
What do you think is the primary benefit of building a competitive business environment?
Well, the primary benefits of building a competitive business environment includes.
You are not responding to my question. My question was, what is the primary benefit of building a competitive business environment? Can you try to? Pardon?
I want to say that, but I don't just know the process.
No. My question was, what is singular? Primary benefits, singular. Your response was the benefits.
You said it's just the hell of it.
Never give a short answer. Don't forget.
You also like get that much monopoly something. You said it's short. You said it's okay. Only you know the way the person comes, right?
Yes. So please tell me what's your favorite color? Well, I have great love for different colors, but I have just a particular color which I cherish so much as my favorite, and that would be red. And the reason for this is because, one, I feel so fulfilled when I know that the blood that flows in my system is red. Also, each time I come out in a red attire, people admire me a lot. People consider red to be a sign of danger, but I call it boldness. See, I'm giving different reasons now. So nobody will tell you to give reasons. You would automatically begin to give reasons. The red is your favorite color. Please, in IELTS, like I always say, nobody is so much interested about whether or not what you're saying is true, but ensure you don't go for a color that will shoot you in the foot. If you choose a color that has nothing to offer, like you ask any lady now, what's your favorite color? If I say pink, because it makes me feel like a princess, Abby. And after that, what next? Nothing. So you have to go for a color, even if it's not your favorite color in real life. Go for a color that would allow you to say certain things. What is the favorite part of your house to you? The favorite part of my house to me is my toilet. Some other person is the kitchen. The other person's bedroom. But whichever it is, please give reasons. Reasons you consider that to be your favorite. Then after that, you may also be asked to talk about your dream car. Your dream car. So for a dream car, you want to establish a product and a model. Of course, models go with year, right? Then talk about why it is your dream car. Looking at the shape, the interior, the speed, the cozy look, and any other thing you want to attribute to it. These are reasons it is your dream car, right? Then part 2, you'll be given a cue card. Boss, please give me some cue cards. You'll be given a cue card. Now that cue card gives what you are going to speak about. Alright? It will be written there. When you receive it, there's going to be a piece of paper right in front of you on the desk where you'll be seated. So you'll be advised to make use of that piece of paper to make note of whatever it is you want to talk about. Because on the cue card question, there will be 3 to 4 prompters, bullet points, things that will guide you to respond to the question correctly. Please, you understand this? So when you are given like 40 or 60 seconds to jot or make notes. Don't go writing stories. There is no such time. Just jot the direct prompters. For instance, describe a moment in your life when you were very excited. Describe a time in your life when you were very excited. Okay, please give to them from behind. Alright. Just one.
Yeah, just put another card.
Okay. Please, you've done this one.
No.
Please concentrate on the box. The box. Concentrate more on what's in the box. Don't read other things. That will be distraction. Now here it says, describe a hotel that you know. Describe a hotel that you know. You should say where this hotel is, what this hotel looks like, what facilities this hotel has, and then explain whether you think this is a nice hotel to stay in. Now at this point, on that piece of paper that will be placed in front of you, you have to write where this hotel is, the location. Don't write a story. Don't make any sentence. Just write location. Do you understand this? What this hotel looks like. Description of the hotel. 5-star, 4-star, with maybe 8-story buildings or 400-story buildings. And then it's en suite too. Okay, automatically, if it is 4 or 5-star, en suite. Then what facilities this hotel has. Of course, if it's a 5-star hotel, you already know what the facilities in it. You know, it's not the one they will show you where pocket is. You should fetch water when you want to have. This one is en suite. So the facilities there, you talk about escalators or lifts, right? You talk about swimming pool, bar. You talk about gym facility, right? You talk about other sporting facilities. There are hotels like that. You talk about nature. There are hotels that have places for nature. Like, I think, is it Sheraton? There used to be this corner where you have these coconuts, kind of trees. People go there to shoot movies and other things. You also need to talk about the room services, the telecom. We talk about free Wi-Fi. We talk about towels, slippers.
Can you just, sorry sir, can you just do a simple...
No, we're talking, we'll get to that. I'm giving you what you might want to jot down.
Okay.
Because whatever we are saying now will be for you to jot down in preparation for what you then see, right? So then the last one says, explain whether you think this is a nice hotel to stay in. So yes, it says explain. So you want to talk about this. So for me, after jotting this down, within the time frame I'll be given, once the examiner signals to me that I can now begin, I'll start by saying, wow, thank you for this opportunity. I can remember vividly on the 26th of July 2024 or 2022, I had a program to attend, a function to attend at Lagos, so I was opportune to lodge at the Oriental Hotel in Lagos. It's actually a 5-star hotel. It's situated around Victoria Island. When I got there, I noticed that the place is quite neat, cozy, and it's not rowdy, unlike what people usually say about Lagos as a city. Then in the hotel, I realized that everything I need is provided for, ranging from towels in the bathroom, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, all packaged for me. I also noticed that there is the bathroom slippers, where you just have to that you have to wear to get into the bathtub. Of course, there is functional heater, and it has both the hot water and the cold, but there is a way to also manipulate it, and it will be giving you the warm water. Now, the room itself is en suite, meaning it has the bedroom, the kitchen, the toilet, the bathroom, everything is provided for. And there is the telecom if you need anything from either the bar, the kitchen, and anything, or you need the room service guys to come around. There are digits you have to input and they will be at your service. Of course, it's a 25-story building, and for this, there is provision for the lift, right? You don't need to climb the stairs up to the 25th floor. So the lift is provided for, and it has 24 hours electricity supply for that to function properly. Then we also enjoyed a lot of Wi-Fi for those that actually paid for the room. So they don't need to come with any router or internet facilities already provided for. And then your payments also covered breakfast for the period of time you're going to stay there. And I also like to recommend that it's quite a nice place. It's of international standard. If I have my way, I can always go there repeatedly. Thank you so much. Do you understand this? So you find ways to speak for about 2 weeks. It's not difficult. It's just for you to build the interest. It's just for you to build your interest and work and have your confidence, yes. But then you need to be exposed to someone who only does lounge at one of the villages there. You don't know about...
You don't know what to say. You not become stuck on the road.
Right? So you need to understand that there are other different categories of hotels that exist, right? So that's how to go about your Q card. There is nothing difficult about it, but it is your main speaking session. Remember, starting this, I didn't say today I'll be describing a hotel that I know. I don't need to do that. Examiner has a copy of this. So you just want to talk about a time, give a date, the place what took you there, and then you begin to talk about the hotel itself, right? So you should also, if you want to talk about the staff, their relationship with clients or customers. You want to talk about their service delivery, right? The way they welcome people when you get to the hotel. Then you also want to talk about the security of that place, the power supply, alternative power supplies, if any. So these are things you want to actually talk about when you have the floor to speak. Do you have any question about this? Don't worry, there will be practical session of the speaking test. Yes, the only thing is Chief may not have that opportunity because his show is tomorrow. But then I'm sure he's just confident. There's nothing difficult. Then part 3 right here is basically same as part 1, where you will be having question and answer sessions as well. Right? You'll be having questions and answers. Right? Just like part 1, examiner will ask you a few questions, then you speak, and that will be it. It lasts for maximum 3 to 4 minutes. And you're done.